Hi guys, here's a quick tutorial for using Google Forms to generate a self-marking test. From your Google Drive, go down to More, there's Google Forms, and we're going to set up a Google form and then link it with some further functionality to make it self-marking. As an example, I'm just going to use a simple maths test, so we give it a title. If you'd like a description, maybe we could put something like check up on your math skills. Just title it, so that will then be saved in your Google Drive. Basically, you just set up the questions. I think it's quite helpful to start with a basic question that asks for the student's name. So what is your name? And on the right here, we get the different types of questions, and that will just be a short answer question. And if you're wanting to contact them via email, then ask for their email address. So this little plus sign here gives us a new question. There we go. And we can just say, what is your email address? And that allows us to email their answers to them, if that's what you want to do. So what's your name, what's your email address, give you two good questions to start. Let's just quickly go through the different types of questions. So we add a new question here. Here are the different types. We'll just start with multiple choice. We might start with a very simple question, and then we can just give different options. Let's say 4, 6, 8, 10 as our 4 options. There's no need to give the correct answers now. I will show you how to do that a little bit later on. Next, let's add another new question. We'll choose the next one down, the check boxes, and maybe our question might be which of the following have 4 sides. And in this one, there isn't one correct answer. There might be many, and that's the idea of the check boxes. So we could have a square and a triangle, and then get a bit more fancy, parallelogram, and maybe a trapezium. And let's add in maybe a rhombus as well. Okay, so that check boxes, the students would then have to tick the ones, which of those have got 4 sides. Let's go to another question. In this case, maybe we'll use a drop-down menu, and let's have a question about time. So let's say the time is 10 minutes before 7 in the morning. And the question is about using international time. The correct form using international time, some know that is 24-hour time, is, and this would give a drop-down menu, and we might give, let's see, 6:50 a.m. as one answer, say 07:10 as another answer, and then the correct answer 06:50. So that would be an example of a drop-down question. There are options you can see here for short answer and paragraph questions. Let's make this one a paragraph question, and we might ask them which section of maths do you find most challenging, and maybe push them further. Why do you think this is the case? And your students can give a long answer to that. You'll see down here it allows you to duplicate the question. That's useful if you've got a number of, say, multiple choice ones and you just want to add different answers. You can make it a required question or not, and all sorts of bits and pieces like that. For each question, you can grab them and move them to a different place if that's what you'd like. And when you're happy with it, you can have a look at preview, and this will give you an indication of what your final test is going to look like. In terms of color schemes, the palette allows you to change the color schemes if you would like, or to choose a theme. Let's just choose jelly beans for our quick maths test. All right, so I'm now happy that that's what my test is going to look like. I've just got a few questions. We now move to the stage of making it self-marking. The way to do that is through a plugin. I'm going to dip into responses. Sorry, not into responses yet. I need to make a response. So I'm going to preview it, and then I'm actually going to go ahead and answer it. We're going to call this the mark scheme because this is what's going to mark it for us. We don't have to give an email address. So what's 4 plus 4? The correct answer is 8. Which of these have the 4 sides? A square does, a parallelogram does, a trapezium does, and a rhombus does. The time is 10 minutes before 7 in the morning, so it's 06:50, and we don't have to answer that one. So I'm just going to submit that as our mark scheme, and then this would be an example of how we're going to use somebody else's responses to get it to self-mark. So I'm just going to call this student 1. Again, I'll leave out, actually let me just put in an email address, test@gmail.com. All right, what's 4 plus 4? Let's imagine the student gets 8. Let's see, they choose that, they know that, but they don't know what a trapezium or rhombus is, so they leave those out. Let's imagine they get this one wrong, and they find fractions most difficult. All right, so those are our responses. I'm now going to go back to our original test. You can see there now there are 2 responses, and if I click on that, it shows me my 2 responses there. It does give you some immediate feedback, so both of those answers got 100% of that correct, and it shows you the percentage of which ones were chosen. Got half. So there's some value in that particular response. We're going to click on this little button, which sends our responses to a new spreadsheet. And so I'm going to create that new spreadsheet. It creates it in Google Drive in the same folder that you created the other one. All right, now up at the top here, we're going to click on add-ons and get add-ons. And the add-on that we're looking for is one called Flubaroo. It's a slightly odd name, Flubaroo. There it is, and it's a free add-on, and this is what allows us to turn this into a self-marking test. So just allow it to do what it needs to do, and it will then run a script that allows you to do all sorts of interesting bits and pieces. Once it's been loaded, if you click on add-ons again, you'll see there's now a button called Flubaroo there. And we're going to click on grade assignments, so it marks our tests automatically for us. And it'll bring up a little step-by-step menu for you to go through. And it'll take you through that, asking you where the correct answers are and what to do with it. So for question 1, what is your name? There's the question. That identifies the student, so we're just going to leave it at that. What's your email address? Again, identifies the student. So what is 4 plus 4? We're going to go through using normal grading, and here's the number of marks for that question. And set at 1, we can change the number of marks if you'd like. And again, which of the following have 4 sides? There are 4 correct answers there, so you could give it 4 marks if you'd like. The next step then is it asks you what to use as the answer key. Now, the very first submission we made was all the correct answers, and we called that mark scheme. So that's the one that we're going to use to mark the others against. And once it's got that information, you can see it's now grading our assignment. And so what it's done is it's taken student 1, that was the one that we submitted, and it's got its total number of marks, its percentage, and you can see here that what is 4 plus 4. They got 1 mark for that. Unfortunately, they didn't get the correct marks for the other 2. They got those wrong. But if you have all your students submitting, then they will all be down here and they would have automatically marked them for you. They highlight the ones in yellow where the kids get below a certain percent. I think it's 60% if I'm not mistaken, and that identifies the questions that they clearly aren't doing terribly well on. There's some other functionality. You can view a report. This is quite handy. You can share the grades, and that allows you then to quickly email all your students with the results of the little test that they did. And that's where, when you set up the form, when you put in the little bit about email address, it picks it up there. So email address question, what's your email address? Grade sharing method, share via email. You can include a little message, but if you click continue, it will then email all your students with their results from that test. That's how you do self-marking tests.